welcome to you, Tasha Salinas. So nice of you for being with us. Well, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the listeners who are there. So nice of you for sparing your valuable time to be on our platform. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Coming to our platform, well, let me mention that this platform is working for last 4 years and it has hosted hundreds of TED speakers on its show. At the same time, we have uploaded more than about 5,000 short and big video clips on various platforms. Yes, now this is 146th episode. Yes, so you are the one. About me, I already hosted more than about 200 such programs on various platforms, and today I am with you. So, once again, a warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you. We will be having this program in two parts. The first part will be for about 20 minutes, where you will be answering the questions in bit detail.
Yeah.
Please try to have it in 4 to 5 minutes for each question so that we can ask more number of questions.
Yeah.
And then we will go for a rapid fire questions where you will be answering questions into short, if possible, in one or two words or one or two lines.
Yes.
Fine. So let's jump to the questions that we have. But
Okay.
before that, here is a very small introduction about you.
Yes.
Tasha, Tasha Salinas, an experienced coach and motivational speaker, found her calling as an enlightenment coach after a transformative journey following her divorce. Now, she helps others find inner peace. Great. What a transformation you have made and achieved. A big congratulations to
Thank you.
you, Tasha. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Great.
Thank you. Appreciate
Well,
it.
thank you. So, here are the questions that our listeners have sent to me to be asked to you.
Yeah.
The first question is this, Tasha, what was the moment in your life where you felt completely lost?
Mm.
And how did you begin to find yourself again?
Yes.
Platform is
Oh,
yours. Tasha, please.
I love this question. Thank you so much. So, for me, a time where I found myself most lost was in 2020. And I live in America, and we were in the middle of the pandemic, of the COVID pandemic. And everything in my life at that point felt like it was breaking down. My marriage, I knew that it wasn't healthy, but we hadn't taken steps to change it. The pandemic was rampant all over. We were in the middle of a lockdown and I had quit my job. And then all of a sudden I started having anxiety and panic attacks. So when I started having cluster panic attacks, I knew that something had to shift. I couldn't control the pandemic. I couldn't control my relationship or anything. So all I had in that moment was myself. And so honestly, I let myself break. You asked how did I get through it? I let myself break. And what that looked like was just almost to succumb to the anxiety until I just surrendered. And so what I did at that point is I actually literally would run to my closet and I would sit in there where the clothing is and I would imagine that all those pieces of clothing were angels that were singing to me. And it sounded crazy, but it gave me the respite from the chaotic world. And I didn't know what was happening, but I was actually learning how to meditate. I was learning to still my mind because my mind wasn't being nice at that time. And so what I did was started to learn to let the thoughts go in and out of my brain and clearing the mind. And that, in my opinion, to finish out the question, is how I allowed something that really threatened to break me, allow it to break me, and then find my breath. And again, we always go back to our breath when we want to find stillness. So in the closet with all those clothing, that's where I found my stillness, and I really believe that that's what's allowed me to move forward in my journey. So thank you.
Hmm. Great. Wow,
Thanks.
what a shift that you could make.
Mm,
Beautiful. Well,
thank you.
here is the next question which I would like to ask us.
Yeah.
Tasha, do you believe heartbreak is a necessary step towards a true healing?
What
If
a
yes,
wonderful
then
question.
why? And if not, then why not?
Yeah. Man, okay, I know everybody says this, but I love that because we believe, I think humans believe that pain is inevitable. And I do believe that in life we all go through various like areas of heartbreak, right? Whether it be with our parents or a loved one, a child, we lose a child too soon, or a romantic heartbreak. I don't necessarily think it's a requirement, but I do believe it's one of the biggest teachers that we have. So for me in my journey and my story, my recognizing that my divorce had to happen, that my marriage wasn't going to turn into what I dreamt it would be one day, that broke my heart. But as soon as I recognized the breaking of my heart that I had, because I made the decision to leave, as soon as I made that decision, there was like hope right behind it. So, yeah, I had to have that heartbreak in order to know that hope existed on the other side. So for me, it was vital and necessary. And then that was 5 years ago. So since then,
Hmm.
I have gone in, if we're going to talk about romantic love, I've gotten in relationships to where I actually opened up my heart again and recognized that it's not a safe space. So for Tasha, I was able to like consciously navigate these relationships before they got to heartbreak again. And as I was doing that, I was learning how to live from my heart to where, yeah, I'm going to have sad encounters and things like that, but I don't think I'll need that catalyst of traumatic heartbreak that I had to really kind of orient me to look inward and know my own heart first. So moving forward, when I do encounter things that feel like heartbreak or that will kind of hurt a little bit, I also have learned, and this is the key point in my opinion, to self soothe. Instead of blaming everybody else for my heartbreak or the pain that I have, my emotional pain, I can now sit with myself and recognize that what's happening is very valid and real, but my true return home is back to my own heart, to where that break is originated from, and soothing myself and then mending the relationship or ending the relationship, whichever the case may need to be. So that's my
Great.
thoughts. Thank you.
Really. You could really do a lot, and especially, yes, I understand when the heartbreaking takes place, what is the position of a person. But I truly admire the person who literally shifts from that because by
Thank you.
staying at that place has got no meaning. Very
Yes.
correct. Well,
Thank you.
now would you like to tell me that when everything fell apart after your divorce,
Yeah.
what was the first small choice that shifted your path? What was that? How you chose it? How you worked on it?
hmm It's interesting because that was a moment where I really had to rely on my faith. And when I say my
Hmm.
faith, it's not in a higher power, it's in the faith in myself that I can make the next right step and make the good next right step for my life. So, believe it or not, for me, the very first thing that I did was I went out and I actually bought a shower curtain. And I know, what does a shower curtain have to do with your life falling apart? For me, it was a need that I had, and I was able to meet my own need by buying something as trivial as a shower curtain. But for me, that started that sovereign choice, right? So
Hmm.
every time I found myself having a need or meeting or finding that there was a need that I felt like I had, I just did what I could to make a choice. And I think that that bolstered my self esteem to kind of help me to move forward. Um, I got a job working as a
Hmm.
professional in professional development, and I was teaching people tools for self-awareness. So as I
Hmm.
would help them to understand themselves, I was learning to understand myself and some of my habits and some of my automatic tendencies that were probably not working for me as far as the goals that I had for my life. So as I was learning to become more and more self-aware, because you know,
Cool.
they say if you want to know something, teach it, right? So I started teaching these principles. And as I was teaching them, I'm like, it matters to have a choice and take a step. So again, when everything has fallen apart, your next right thing is just to get in the present moment. And what do I need right now? For me, it was a shower curtain. But for anybody else,
Right.
it could be phoning a friend, calling a friend, or anything like that. But just getting down to the present is, I think, are always our present next step.
Very correct. Yes. And when you teach something, it
Mhm.
really helps a lot because that is the first time information that you are passing to someone.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Tasha, you have given a word, and that is the divine wellness. Would you
Yes.
like to tell me that what does it mean, divine wellness, and how can someone begin to tap it?
Mm. Whew. So divine wellness to me, it's honestly embodiment of your spiritual nature, a conscious
Hmm.
embodiment of the spirituality that we all learned through religion, our connection to the higher power, whatever that is, embodiment of that. And so where I tend to go when I have coaching conversations is we have a curious conversation to kind of see where's the consciousness of that person, right? Where is their level of understanding of their reality? And I meet them there. But as a visionary, as someone who I receive high level information, consciousness information, I have the opportunity to reflect back to that person to help them to
Hmm.
see and uncover some of their blind spots. So for me,
Right.
what divine wellness is taking every thought captive and making it obedient to the reality that we want to live. And the more we nurture our thinking in the avenue, in the way, in the trajectory and the way that we want to live our lives, we will start to see our actual life start to become the life of our dreams. If we keep showing up in thought first. I'm very metaphysical in the way that I believe, and I believe that spirituality can be lived out. Our holiness, the thing that beats our hearts as we're alive, is for a purpose. And I think that the reason we're all here is to live the life of our dreams. And that begins with understanding what's going through our mind. So, once again, divine wellness to me is living very present minded, knowing
Hmm.
that you are the conscious creator of your life. And based on how you respond to the world around you, will determine your level of lived, in your own opinion, wellness. So, as within, so without. And so, for me, it starts with conversation with someone, and then also turning on that inner conversation, that inner dialogue with God or whatever you call the thing inside that you might pray to, really strengthening that relationship. It can be religious, divine wellness, but it doesn't have to be. So I actually tend to lean a little more spiritual oriented rather than religion, because I think religion taught us how to kind of operate
Hmm.
to connect with the higher source. But now I believe
Right.
through evolution, we've been offered the opportunity to be what we believe rather than just act it out in ritual. So that, in a long answer, is kind of what divine wellness is. And the reason, one more thing, is because it's a long answer, it's very personalized. Each individual has their own story. We all have a way that we were born, and a world that we were born into through our paradigm. So I'm very gifted to be able to get in a one-on-one conversation with somebody and explore their challenges, and then be alongside them as they walk themselves through correcting their thinking patterns to hopefully change their active, like how they engage with the world around them.
Great.
It's what I do.
Yes. Perfect. Very right. Very right.
Thank you.
Beautifully, you have mentioned it. Perfect. Well, and as
Thank
you
you.
said that unless and until you have conversation either with yourself or with the person opposite or even with the God,
Yeah,
nothing works. Yes, conversation is one of the most important action that one must take. Beautiful.
absolutely.
Well,
Thank you. Thank you.
can you please tell me one more thing that people how they differentiate between temporary healing and true inner peace?
Yeah, I love this. You're going to go straight for the truth, right? I honestly believe, and I know this might sound new thought ish, but I believe that when we embrace the fact that we are healed, is that is the
Mm-hmm.
moment it becomes permanent. I
Right.
think that sometimes in the healing community and the spiritual community, we're always doing the work. We're always healing. And I think that someone who is healing manifests things that they need to continue to heal from. I think that when I can arrive and say, you know what, this is an emotional trigger, for example, this is an emotional trigger that has taken away a lot of my
Mm-hmm.
inner peace. And I am done feeling unease about this situation. So I'm going to call it settled and done. And I'm not going to be emotionally attached to that anymore. It may present still in my life, but right now I'm not going to react to it. I think when we get to that moment inside is when healing
Mm-hmm.
has taken place and we are done. But again, I think as long as we keep engaging with the negative feelings that have been unexplored, that's when we're going to be in that hamster wheel of healing. So when it's finally done is when I believe is when the individual says that it's done. And I believe it can go from as something as minor as a relationship snafu to
Mm-hmm.
something as major as actually physical healing. I truly believe that if I trust and believe in faith and connection with that higher power, that my body is capable of healing itself, that miraculous things can happen because I've declared it as done. And as we're
Mm-hmm.
learning through energetics, and as we're learning through metaphysics, and as we're learning through even quantum entanglement, I can choose with my conscious mind to entangle with a version of me who is already healed. And that's where my healing is done. And it will manifest in my body if there is an ailment. I believe that we can change everything and the nature of our reality through our consciousness. And I believe through the evolution of where we are right now in society, we're getting ready for that opening for all humans to know that their divine power is in their hands, and it starts in our thoughts first.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Great. Wow.
Yeah, it's
Well,
intense, right?
I was thinking, perfect, perfect. I was thinking about your divorce and the time at the time of your divorce, because
Yeah.
for me, I'm sure that the complete your whole world get collapse
Yes.
when you are on the verge of divorce or when you decide about it. But you are the one that let me know that when everything fell apart after your divorce, what was the first small choice that shifted your path?
Yeah.
So, what would you like to give advice to all the other listeners that,
Yeah.
according to you, what is the first small choice one can take so as to shift the path from that divorce, please?
Yes. Yes. The number one thing I would say to anybody who is facing
Hmm.
their life crumbling down is to find the dream in your heart. Before you
Right?
even do anything, examine your heart and what do you really want? Because the moment that you can formulate a dream into a tangible idea or a tangible, even you can picture a scene, it doesn't matter. But as long as you have something tangible to dream about or decide in your heart that you want, it's already started. The process of achieving that dream has already started. Now what we do is we make a choice and then we
Hmm.
trust it. You trust it. You trust that you have been given a dream in your heart, and it's time for you to explore how to make that dream come true, how to allow that dream to come true in your thoughts first. So for me, it was, I believe that I am meant to have a healthy relationship. I believe
Hmm.
that. And sure enough, not long after that, I made steps to get out of the unhealthy relationship that I was in. And then I needed a job. I believe I'm worthy of a job that pays me well and that is satisfying for me to do. And I got hired on making more money than I set out to make. And I was
Ooh.
teaching people how to examine themselves and know themselves. So at this point, I have a self perpetuating wheel leading me towards the life of my dreams. But it started with very first, back down to square one, knowing what I wanted in my heart. So again, my advice to anybody is to know that the desires in your heart are there for a reason, and that you have every tool to make them come true, starting in your imagination. You've never been asked to figure out how to make the world keep spinning. You've just been asked to keep breathing. And so that's my advice, is just know the dream in your heart is meant to come true.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Thank
Wow.
you.
What an answer. Great.
Thanks.
I
Appreciate it.
liked it. Really, really, I loved it.
Yeah. I enjoy
Well,
it. This is why I like being on shows and whatnot, because it gives me the opportunity to really just flow, and
mhm,
I appreciate the opportunity.
good. Well, Tasha, everyone has got his own beliefs.
Hmm.
Everyone has got his or their own virtues, their
Yeah.
own thinking, their own pattern of
Yeah.
thoughts, and they think that whatever they have are the only one that works, no other. But you are the one who could shift. So, can you please tell me that what belief did you have to completely unlearn? What belief did you have to completely unlearn in order to transform your life? What was that?
Yes. The belief I am still unlearning
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
the belief that fear can hurt me.
Hmm.
And that's
Lovely.
that
Please repeat. Please repeat it again. Lovely. Lovely. Please.
yes, is the
I'm
belief
sure
that
all
fear
will
can hurt
like it.
me. It's
Please.
just it,
Please
yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I had to understand that fear is the
Hmm.
best teacher. And so when I
Hmm.
let go of that, I started to see
Hmm.
the possibilities. And so
Wow.
I created a mantra that recognized nervousness as a sign that
Hmm.
I'm about to do something really brave. And
Right.
so that gives me hope to know that I can rewrite my neural pathways. I can
Hmm.
choose the thoughts that I think, because my knee jerk reaction is to be afraid and to pull back to try to protect
Hmm.
myself. I know that if I'm doing what my heart desires with the highest intent for everybody on this earth, let's just say I topple off a cliff and I die. At least I died happy and free, knowing that I was doing something with the intention of goodness in my life. And I know that sounds wild, but fear is pervasive. So I had to kind
Hmm.
of come up with an imagery that's going to match that level of fear. So my faith had to always exceed the fear in my life. So the first thing I had to unlearn and forget
Hmm. Right.
was the habit of fear. Hmm.
Wow. Yes. So let me also, I was driving in forward direction. Let
Yeah.
me also make a put a brake, and instead of going forward, let me take my vehicle in the reverse direction. So
Yeah.
instead of learning, let me also unlearn
Yeah. Yeah.
by shifting my vehicle. And here is the next session which we are having. And
Yeah.
for that, it's a rapid fire section where I'll be asking the question, for which please reply in the shortest possible way.
I
And
will.
here are the first question that I would like to ask you, and that is one word that defines your healing journey. What is that?
Dynamic.
Wow. Please repeat it. Repeat it again.
Dynamic.
Lovely. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
That is the most powerful. It's not dynamic, but for me, it's a dynamite that explodes.
Right?
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Wow. Please tell me one mantra that you live by every day. What is that?
Just do the next right thing. Hmm.
Please tell it again. Little bit elaborate it.
Yeah. So the mantra that I hang on to pretty much is just do the next right thing.
Wow. Lovely. Yes.
Thank you.
Here is the next question. The first thing that you say to yourself when self doubt creeps in, what do you say?
I am safe. I am safe. Hmm. Yeah.
The first thing you say to yourself when self doubt creeps in, what do you say to yourself?
I say I am safe.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Nice. Yes,
Hmm.
you are correct.
Mm.
Please, can you recall the name of one book that changed your perspective of life?
Yes. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I don't know how to say the last name, but it's The Alchemist. Am I allowed to
Yeah,
say
I
more?
read it and it's really a lovely book.
It is.
Yes,
Can I talk about it
yes,
or no? One word answer. I can't explain it.
please.
Well, the reason I like it really quickly is the first time I read it, it hit me on the
Hmm.
level that I was at. The second
Mm-hmm.
time I read it, it hit me on a
Hmm.
higher level. I was like, "Whoa, this book is talking to me." And the third time I read it, the book read me.
Oh,
Yeah, and so what I love
oh.
about the book, and this is why I recommend it to everyone, it's my favorite book, is I think it's one
Mm-hmm.
of those wisdom books that it's just unassuming, and I think that people, to your point, when they read it, it meets them where they are and hopefully speaks to them or whatever question they have in their heart, whether it's finding their treasure or
Hmm.
holding out for the love of their life to return or whatever. I just love it. It's dynamic.
Correct. Oh, for you, would you like to please tell me that what does peace that feel like to you in one word? For you, what is that peace?
In one
How do you
word,
get it?
if I'm understanding correctly, one word to describe what peace feels like to me, is that the question?
Right.
Yeah. Exhaling.
Mm-hmm.
So when we
Yes.
exhale and we find
Yes.
ourselves present,
Right.
that's peace for me.
Good.
Mhm.
And one habit that transformed your morning. What is that?
My morning, um, this is interesting. Okay, no, you don't want a story. I don't have a habit anymore. I used to be
Mm-hmm.
very regimented, and now it's
Mm-hmm.
grace. I have a schedule that I stick to somewhat, but for me, it's waking up with enough time to kind of like pour into my day. That's my
Oh,
habit. I know, like kind of
great.
a slow start to my day. So it's not a habit necessarily, but having that cushion to just kind of figure out where's my mind, you know what I mean? And really arrive before my day begins. Mm,
Oh, and please tell me who inspires you the most,
yeah.
especially right now. Who's that
Yeah.
person and why is that person?
Mary Magdalene. And
Mm-hmm.
I never really worshiped her when I was in the Christian church or any religion, but in my spiritual journey, I love the embodiment of the divine feminine, and I believe in
Mm-hmm.
Christed consciousness, and I believe that Jesus and
Mm-hmm.
Mary were I believe that they were a pair. They were a partnership, and I believe that we heard about Jesus, and I believe we weren't able to hear about Mary because I don't think that we were ready for her message of embodiment of the holy energy. I think we're ready for that now. And so I find like in meditation, she will like come and it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's more of this unexpected flow of water, of fluidity, of
Right.
energy. And I feel that she emboldens me. And so even
Mm-hmm.
though she's not living right now, I feel that we have an alive relationship in my meditation, far more alive than mine was with Jesus when I first
Mm-hmm.
learned about the teachings of Jesus. And so again, I believe that Christ or the Christed, I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
consciousness level, and I believe that Mary Magdalene is a spiritual mentor or someone that I look up to,
Right.
just energetically. Yeah,
Right. Lovely.
thank you.
Yes. In Hinduism, we have the Lord Krishna, that is the baby
Yes.
Lord or baby Christ. So we feel that we ourselves are like that, and the
Yes.
mother always takes care of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Feels
Very
good.
correct.
Thank you.
Well, if you are given 10 seconds to give the world a message, please tell me what it would be, Tasha.
Yeah. The world, since the entire world is listening to me right now, I want you to
Mm-hmm.
know that you are
Mm-hmm.
perfect just the way you are. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing separating you from your dreams is the belief that you can't have them. So that's what I'd say. You're perfect
Oh,
just the way you
yes,
are.
yes. Because the people, what they do is they spend their whole life in changing themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
They never think
Searching.
that they are perfect. They are perfect. Yes,
Yeah, and receiving that and feeling worthy. So yeah, thank you.
very correct. Well, I have got so many questions to ask you, but but the time do not permit me.
Yeah,
So, well, thank you so much for all the answers that you gave, and
thank
that too
you.
from the bottom of your heart. I'm
Absolutely.
sure that all the listeners who are there or who will be listening afterwards, they will definitely love your
Thank
reply, and they will get inspired and motivated to have their mindset in a quite different way that is needed. So nice
Mhm.
of you. So,
Thank
well,
you.
I thank you once again for being with us. I pray the Almighty God to give you all the strength, wisdom, power,
Thank you.
time, money, each and
Mhm.
every comfort and facilities so that you keep on
Thank you.
doing this wonderful work that you are doing. Please
Thank
keep
you.
on doing. And if possible, when we request you, do spare time for us and be our guest again. So nice
Yes.
of you. We say namaste to you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.